Wear what?
A beater.
What the hell is that?
Tank top.
Oh. I'm just.
Or is it
I don't
because...
know. I've been pretty sweaty. That's all I gotta say.
Guys, welcome to podcast number 18. Today with me, I have Panshui, who you guys know, Hoseh, someone new, and Syllara. You guys probably seen him on my, I think, like my second or third podcast, like super old person that has come before. And since no one knows Panshui, I'll let him introduce himself along with Hoseh afterwards, and then Syllara. So Panshui, start us off. Tell them who you are.
See, what's up? My name is Panshui. You guys may already know me as a streamer for Epic 7, but if you guys don't know me, you guys can visit me on twitch.tv/Panshui. Normally, I'm known as Gabe's foot buddy. You feel me? So I tuck them in, tickle them toes, and do all that nice, good stuff under the blanket.
Gucci.
What's up?
All right, and Hoseh.
Thanks, Guy, for having me here. I'm Hoseh. I play in Asia server, and I cleave a lot, almost every game. I do occasionally stream, so if you guys would like to see me play, you can look for me, Hoseh Mon, in Twitch.
Thank you. Syllara.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me again, Gabe. I remember the last podcast was really, really fun. So I hope we have some interesting topics today. And I'm playing on Global, and I'm one of the Legend RTA player, and I'm one of the main leaders of Life.
All right. Actually, I think speaking of which, I think all three of you are Legend both seasons, right?
I think so.
I
Yeah,
think,
I
yes.
think so.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, all three of you guys. So everyone's 2 times Legends except for me. Shit. I'm the only one.
You were close, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
you were
God.
really close.
You were
Don't
really
worry
Oh
about it.
god. All right. Well, with that said, all these guys have credibility. So let's start. Spicy topic. I changed the order a little bit, so we'll start off with probably one of the newest things. This will affect probably me and Hoseh the most, and so I'll let him talk about it first, and then we'll see how Syllara and Panshui thinks about that. So, as a cleaver, right? What are your thoughts on the new unit, Politis, Hoseh?
To be honest, I think she's broken. I think I've done a little bit of ranting last night in my stream. I was quite emo yesterday after seeing this character. I'm sure 99.9% of the cleavers who do 100% cleaving will feel very painful meeting this hero.
Very true. So about that, like we can't do anything to stop her from coming out. How do you plan to deal with her? Like, is it a pre-ban, perma pre-ban, or is it like you wait and you ban her afterwards? Would you rather pre-ban Fallen Cecilia still?
I had a chat with a few Legend players after the release of this new hero. So one way to deal with her, definitely pre-banning. The good thing about her is that the blessing is that she's still a fire unit. So in a way, you can deal with her with Tea Time and Cerise, or you can even go back to the CC meta. Just control her and not letting her getting a turn.
And yeah, that's something we'll talk about. I'll let Syllara and Panshui talk a little bit about that. Syllara being someone who has done half control, and Panshui who has a very big pool of variety of playstyle of units. So with that said, what do you guys feel about the new units, Syllara, Panshui? Whoever wants to go first.
You want to go first, Pat?
I mean, my opinion of her as of right now is, of course, she's like very scary for cleavers, like without a doubt, right? Just being able, like her passive is it's a very scary thing. Being able to actually reduce combat readiness by 50%, gain out of everything for the enemy is very, very scary. The number of units that she actually affects is the scariest part, though. However, my biggest fear with her is that she definitely might be a very scary unit. Let's say, for example, if you was to play like Falcon O'Clurry or like any of these like turn 1 like setup units.
Yeah.
Right. And being able to just like strip or reduce like buff duration while also pushing herself up, then applying unbuffable on top of that with like two debuffs is very, very right. I think her versatility definitely goes primarily for that passive, especially if you can't kill her immediately and she just sits there.
Yeah. I think
everybody.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying. Panshui's right on that. I feel like not just cleavers. When you think about it, she has more usage outside of just countering cleave, right? Because there's a lot of other units that we don't realize off the hand that does give combat readiness that we make use of a lot of the times. Not to mention, right? It also stops just RB revive itself. If you time it right, he's not gonna come back with like full combat readiness. I imagine, right? So, yeah. What were you gonna say, Syllara?
Yeah, I was saying that I basically play all three different styles. I play Bruiser, CC, and sometimes I bring out the Cleave. This season, I feel like the cleaving meta has been very strong. Like people are really gearing up all the entire unit pool to cleave really well. And the theme of this season is probably crowd control, right? So you're gonna notice a lot of these units, they have a very, very strong turn one capability, but they're really scared of full cleave setups, like things like Arbiter Vildred, which I always have trouble against Arbiter Vildred before, because I'm trying to take the second turn, right? I'm not as fast as a full cleaver, so I'm trying to play CC on the 1.5 turn, which if you allow cleaver to set up on you, it's very, very difficult to come back. So I think you're gonna notice a lot of these new units coming out. If you look at F10E, right, it has a huge impact on the first turn, but it doesn't end the game in the first turn. That makes sense? And then if you look at this Politis, Politis?
Yes.
Is it Politis? Okay.
I don't even know.
She's gonna make a huge impact on the first turn, right? But if you look at her impact later on in the game, her impact is not that strong after the turn one.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see a lot of trend of these kind of units which give a lot of impact first turn, which rewards property setup CC comps. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And if you look at some of the other units, it's gonna be the same thing. I think that's the trend we're gonna see.
Okay. That's interesting. There's one thing I was thinking about is like, so Hoseh, I have a question. Do you feel like you're able to draft Politis into your cleave, do you think?
Yes, in fact, but I don't think I don't think she's best set up for a full cleaver. I would think that it is more fitting for a more crowd control setup. But of course, then the pre-ban setup and things like this will be much different, because you wouldn't want to ban FCC when you want to run a CC cleave.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of possibilities. It's a little interesting how hard she counters cleave. It's a little scary too, I guess, because like I feel like this may inherently improve people switching to the CC meta even more. A lot of cleavers might switch to CC instead of cleaving now for the people that have those units available. That's one thing I'm kind of scared about, to be honest.
Maybe it's gonna the cleaver are gonna transition into the type of cleave that doesn't require non-attack skills. You know, like we're talking about units like Athletica, where her setup is all offensive capabilities, right?
Also, like,
or they can go op secret.
Oh yeah. OP Sigret, just for the damage. You pre-ban Politis and then you let Fallen Cecilia through because, you know, the shield is something that OP Secret can deal with, along with there's Landy, stuff like that too. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens, because I feel like she might be a very big impact to that. Then I mean, we'll see how big of an impact there. Aside from that, let's go to the second topic. So with that said, how are you finding the current RTA season though? With the frenzy changes and stuff like that, how do you like it? How are you dealing with it? And do you think it's more difficult than the last 2 seasons?
Who wants to start this?
I don't care. You know, just whoever wants to go, yo. I don't care.
I mean, I'll start. So, I mean, my feelings on the current RTA season is like it's extremely fast paced. Nowadays, it just feels like definitely how it would feel like rock paper scissors are. Of course, there would be like core teams.
Yeah.
It seems like there are just very staple things that people would always go for, especially when we're facing the onslaught of both Cerise and F10A. The fact that because right now it's like crowd control meta and we don't really set up like a proper team, typically people fumble. I feel like as of right now, team compositions really, really do matter a lot. So if you don't draft correctly and your team doesn't synergize, it will typically don't click. There's been a couple people that have tried to play very aggressive and they can't do it because then the rest of your team doesn't like click. And then there's like another type of people that literally just try to play knights, but then they start realizing why they can't really tank. This current meta as right now feels I would like to say it's like probably the biggest mess I have ever seen. There's like people are still forcing like a lot of different things. It's very fun, I would like to say, but also at the same time it could be very most of it feels very RNG. I'm not exactly sure why. Nothing ever feels very guaranteed about any of the games I ever play. And even if I do win with like, you know, by like chance or by luck, it doesn't feel very great.
Okay. Fair. What about the rest of you guys?
I think the meta is definitely really fun right now. One of the biggest thing is for the past 2 seasons, it's always been a very reactive meta, right? Like somebody picks RB, you're gonna pick ML Hayes into ML Luduka, or you start tanking up. It depends on what your enemy is drafting. But as we're getting later and later into the season, where people's unit pools are getting bigger, units are getting more powerful, and then people's strategy becoming more complete, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to react to what your enemy is doing, if that makes sense. So I think you have to actively create these cheese strategies, incorporating them into your counter. So for example, you can't just pick ML Hayes and hopefully that will counter RB. You know, you have to have a strategy where ML Hayes +1, and then that's going to counter RB, as well as dealing with the as well as create some kind of cheese, right? So you're not only picking counter, but you also have to make sure that units are synergized very well in order for you to do well in this meta. That's what I think. So it's a lot more effort compared to the last 2 seasons.
Okay, fair assessment. What do you feel like, Hoseh? For you, is it easier or harder?
I think for me, it's definitely something similar to what Panshui has mentioned earlier on. I mean, there's a lot of variation, so it brings a lot of diversity in draft. I mean, for me personally, because I run a different type of setup whereby I would like to determine the pace of the game. So I will be able to experience people with a lot of solid counter pick. Today morning, I just played with one player. He basically picked 5 counter picks to my draft. I mean, there's no synergy. Every unit just work individually counter my Cleave team. So what I'm trying to say here is that in a way it's a very I would say you will be able to see more. I mean for people who climb to a higher tier legend or even a high tier champion, you will see a lot of different type of draft. I would say it create more diversity in this whole RTA concept rather than the last few season whereby what our legend player earlier has shared is that you don't see just S10A into ML Hayes or even RB into maybe Lilias or Basar type of a comp.
Yeah, that's true. The last 2 seasons, especially like without, I mean, what was it before ML Crow came out? I think. Or maybe even before ML Crowd came out, like a lot of it was really just you buckle down. It was a lot of the similar drafts. And then with more and more units and counters showing up now, there's a really big diversity of units that show up a lot of times in the drafts now. So, okay. One thing is, do you think the frenzy is like the frenzy that they added for the effectiveness, has that made an impact at all? Do you feel like, or has it kind of been useless, do you feel?
It's affected like the stall meta like primarily the fact that percent damage got changed to percent attack.
Yeah.
Damage dealers and bruisers such as the Ravis end up being popular just because then, you know, percent damage isn't the increase anymore. So like certain knights don't do like as crazy a damage anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a very big thing. The fact that they also introduced like effectiveness on top of that kind of just screwed over the late game stall into the frenzy. So if you end up dragging the game into like frenzy 4 plus or like frenzy 3 plus, you end up getting it into like a very disadvantageous state where you can't really do anything anymore. You basically lose momentum, and then the game will no longer go your way.
Yeah.
Even though we say like effect res is actually not a really good stat anymore, we still do see that turn 1 effect res units, such as now people are just building like high effect res Lilius or high effect res like Acades. They're like all sorts of high effect res units, and we see it that it's become a lot more popular for turn 1, right? But not so much for like the slower units like a Momo and the rest.
Yeah.
I personally think that effect res is not a dead stat. If you can actually take advantage and turn the momentum around, especially when someone decides to play like super aggressive, you can actually just wipe them turn 2 just by resisting and having that key unit just resist. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I think the funny part about like the frenzy changes is not so much the frenzy is affecting like the late frenzy playstyle. It's more so the frenzy rewards you not building units with effect or effect rest. So in general, people, because of that, people's entire play style is changed. You know, units are getting more powerful and they have less wasted stats and effect res. That means the games are a lot faster, not because of the frenzy changes, but because people are basically trying to avoid getting into that kind of situation.
Okay, that's true. Oh, okay. I didn't think about it that way. Yeah. Okay, so good thoughts on that. I'm curious if they're actually going to change this every season. Like, I'm curious if next season Frenzy's going to change again, where like, you know, it's like effect resist increased or something like that, which would be kind of yikers. But I'm curious what they're going to do about that. All right, so this should be a little bit of a quick one here. Maybe actually I'll add something onto that. But what characters do you feel like are shifting into the meta that were never really used past?
For me, I think Champ Z is coming back. I see a lot of Champ Z into the game.
Yeah.
Maybe because of tea time and service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key unit you guys can take note of when you play against tea time and service. Maybe you can consider rebuilding your Champ Z.
Yeah, I see Champ Z very often, especially since I try to make use of tea time. No one used him after his quote unquote like his bug fix, and then afterwards, you know, everyone like threw him away to the side, and then now he's back again.
Yeah, I think what Platty say in the chat is correct. You know, like I think RB is coming back, man. We haven't seen RB for such a long time. He's definitely coming back to the meta.
Yeah. RB was actually a dead pick in the last 2 seasons. He was a useless unit, and we never saw him until now. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Platty, you're right. Yeah, this is why Washable should not be a mod in my chat. I mean, what? What else is there? Chat is saying Fighter Maya. Do you feel like Fighter Maya is someone that's seen a lot right now? I see a few.
I don't. I feel like I still haven't seen her. Like, there's only like a couple people that play it and make it seem like a big bias. Like, I know Melon loves playing as Fighter Maya. But for me, at least, whenever I play versus specific people, even when I choose to play, like, you know, all the great units that she loves to counter, like, you know, FTT, RB, all these units, I still haven't seen Fighter Maya do enough to my team where she can make a huge impact. Maybe it's just because then, you know, I ban a specific unit and then they just lose all momentum, right? I personally think as of right now, it's kind of weird. Like, people do say like RB is coming back, but I think that's like a justified kind of thing. Arby wasn't really popular in season 2 just because then of Emo Haste, right? It was really hard for him to really do anything. Season 3, he came back a little bit tankier. He came back with like counter set even now, so people are just using the arena build and just dropping him in. And then FCC is also making a comeback when people used to like first pick F Clury all the time. People are now first picking FCC like me.
Yeah.
These units are coming back just because of fear in of FTT, right? Like people like okay, so I just want to clarify something in chat. The reason why I say like some people underrated FCC before, she wasn't like a first pick anymore, right? Early on in this meta, she was like in preseason, she was not popular. Everyone just ended up doing more like a Tywin, F Clury, ML Crowd. There was like FCC was like a lot harder to use because then she either didn't do anything or she ended up getting controlled. But now people end up picking her a little bit more just because then she like as a first pick, right? To counter like these units or act as a soft counter in order to deal with like F10A in general. That's the thing, right? That's why FCC, I say she came back into the meta. She just became like before she like in the preseason she wasn't popular. Now she's coming back, right? Like units just end up being like that.
Yeah, I think unit like FCC is really good against because you want that 50-50, right? You might not strip me, you might strip me. And I mean, if you're gonna pick FCC, I think you can also pick Fat Cat, right? Because it's just adding the extra layer of RNG so that the CC doesn't land, right?
I mean,
it's not a real, in my opinion, FCC is not a real strategy. Like I've seen people lose so many games where even though they pick FCC, they still get full strip into unbuffable, right? Like we all seen that. And same thing with Rylet, you have the evasion, you still get hit. So I think that these turn 1 units that can set up on your enemies are very, very powerful. That's why we see a lot more OP Secret now. A lot of people didn't want to pull her. Now they're kind of regretting it, maybe.
I feel like OP Secret is still, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel like not everyone can make use of OP Secret. Like,
I think she's a very strong support unit. Because you're using her to remove buff and you're giving attack, right? Attack buff.
Yeah.
So you can actually build a very fast one into your F10E, so you can actually go into FCC.
Okay, that's actually fair. Yeah, there's that one Korean player that I know has a really like a 290 speed run, right? Was it?
Yeah. That guy is kind of
285.
Yeah, like I did not like I fought them once and I didn't expect it. I just got outsped. I was like, what? It was yeah, that was a little scary. That's true. Yeah, I thought it was mainly I mainly used her within like a cleave to do damage, so I guess that is true. You can give your team attack buff and everything too. With that, I'm gonna add something to this topic itself, because I've realized I forgot to add this in. But Archdemon Mercedes being the case, sorry, Archdemon Shadow, along with Archdemon Shadow and well, Politis, I realized is technically Archdemon can seal Politis's passive, right? So
I don't think Mercedes is gonna counter her because you're gonna have immunity, right? Turn 1.
Yeah.
So she's not really sealing her at all.
She needs to pair with someone who strips. That's I think what the strong part about this new unit Politis. So herself, her kit is I would say very stacked. So she is able to provide strip, CR reduction, CR boost, and like what Panshui shared earlier, the 2 debuff, and she's a mage, which possibly on crown. So the whole gist itself to counter her, you probably need 2 to 3 units to synergize with your team in order to make it work 100% against her. So that's why I feel that she's very powerful.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think maybe OP Cigarette into Mercedes would be very strong.
OP
yeah, you
Cigarette
can play a DPS Mercedes.
Oh, okay. Do you think Mercedes will be good though? Like, I hear a lot of mixed reactions. I don't know how I feel about her yet. Like, I'm very half-half.
I think this really depends on people's play style. If you play extremely slow, then it might be very dangerous if someone ends up picking Arc Demon Mercedes and pummel you down. But if you're one of those people that end up abusing the crap out of like F10A and Cerise and just turn 1 characters in general, I don't really think Arc Demon Mercedes would really do anything. Like we said as of right now, since for how fast-paced the game is going, just for sealing just 1 unit, I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be detrimental enough in order for Arc Demon Mercedes to really be scary, right? For Politis, it's like just her existing makes her scary, right? Whereas for Mercedes, technically, she's just a standalone unit that doesn't really offer anything besides like, hey, look, a single target seal with a % chance of like proccing her S2, and it's just like a 1 debuff blind. I personally see that it's going to be really difficult for anybody to really try to use Arc Demon Mercedes.
Wait, doesn't she have like a AOE blind?
She does, but it's like you have to land a seal first, and then you have to stack that on top of like another like 70% chance of even proccing it.
Yeah,
it's like basically like Charles. It's like conditional, like it's a conditional skill, so you're never gonna ever get it to like proc.
Yeah, it's not reliable for
consistently.
Sure.
And I think that's the biggest problem about Arc Demon Mercedes. It's like her as a unit it's very unreliable. Most people, I feel like, no matter what you would build her, that's why people are actually thinking about just building her on speed, because no one's going to end up focusing her, right?
Same for her skill 1. Her seal itself, it's 75% chance without soul burn. So unless you soul burn, you're not guaranteed to land the seal, which is kind of scary to me, right? Like, it's like Falconer clearly still strips and stuff 100% chance, but the seal part is not landing that seal. It's gonna screw you over, you know, and I don't want to rely on that.
Yeah, I just think like her as a control unit, or just a unit that tries to like stop the enemy from trying to like do anything.
Yeah,
just feels like it just works very poorly. It's like either she has like another debuff like, you know, FTT, and try to like, you know, put a silence whenever she procs her S2 or something.
Yeah,
sure, that I feel like something like that would be a little bit greater. But the fact that she does like very little things in her kit, and she only has like 1 niche of just sealing, feels really, really bad. Right? Like compared to like, if I were to just compare it to like a mage that we have right now, it's like FTT has like a full team like redirected provoke. It's a full team CC.
Yeah.
And then you look at something like RD Mercedes, it's just 1 unit. It's just 1 unit the entire time. You're gonna do this, and then you have a chance of, hey, look, I'm gonna just blind you. I'm like, sure. I just don't feel like she does anything.
Okay.
Right? Her multipliers doesn't even say that she would like to be a damage dealer either. Like when are you ever gonna get her to get her S3? Like what turn will you ever get her S3? Especially when you need at least a minimum of like maybe, you know, two or 3 turns in order to get it.
To stack up the focus, yeah.
Exactly. Like when are you gonna actually get her to do something?
Okay. That's a fair assessment there. Okay.
I think I look at Mercedes as a very solid CC unit, because if you look at a lot of the CC units that people use in the past as well as today, there's a lot of RNG involved, right? So you have the 15% chance of getting resisted, and a lot of these AoE debuff are not 100%. And the goal of playing a CC comp is you're not really trying to get all of your debuff to land. You just want to layer them on top, if that makes sense. So you're layering multiple units with multiple debuff. And I think during those situations, being able to get like a seal on Tywin, or getting a seal on a very important core unit is gonna make a pretty big difference. And having the chance of getting S2 AoE blind is gonna give you extra time to put more debuff on your enemy.
But even then, I feel like even with the seal, right, it's not like a stun or like a silence or anything, right? Like I feel like even then, trying to set that thing up, probably not going to be as reliable as you really want it to, right? It's the reason why people don't use Broman in the first place. He does like a team-wide silence, but it's not guaranteed, right? If you can't lock down the entire team, what's the point?
Yeah, but if you're having it, you're not too scared of CZ. You're not too scared of like a Tywin. It's kind of like when you're playing F10, right? Like even though CZ counters her, you still going to use the S3 either way. And a lot of time you still win because you're gonna proc the defense break on them, and then you're still gonna gap on your RB, and you still win.
Well, yeah, that part itself can be true. I think I see where you're coming from, because yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I don't think it's for everyone, though, I'll be honest, because I feel like that ends up being like a specific play style for some people. Well, definitely not up my alley. I definitely not my style, I can tell you that. But I kind of see what you mean there. It is viable in that sense then. I think it's kind of hard. It might be really... You might need some pretty good gear to fit her into a team comp then. Possibly.
I think if she's in a team, she's basically that unkillable target because of the 30% mitigation. It's actually huge.
Okay, that's fair. So I imagine you're probably getting her, right, Syllara?
Yeah, from the coin shop. I'm not gonna pull the mystic.
Yeah, I think most people aren't going to, because they're gonna save their mystic since this one's available in coin shop. If they have the coin shop, they're probably gonna get it because it's like, I mean, quote unquote, it's like a free ML5. Not really, but you know. All right, let's move on to the fourth topic here. All right, let's hear your thoughts on the buffs that are coming through after the maintenance. So Berseria buff, Spez, and the rest of the people. The main two focus being Berseria and Spez. What are your thoughts? Who's good? What's good? And do you think it's viable?
I think all of us here, I think I play Berseria probably the most. You know, when I see Rylet, she automatically pops in my head. And I think majority of the time I get to land that unbuffable, and then if it doesn't land, I just yield, right? So like I feel like her position would be a lot stronger now because you're not gonna worry too much about her having to outspeed a Rylet and getting off her S3. You're just worried about, okay, at what speed tuning do I want her to S3? You're not too worried about her dying before she's gonna do her job. She's always gonna most likely do her job unless you come across a stripper into some kind of heavy DPS, right?
Yeah. As a cleaver, Hoseh, are you gonna fit her into your cleave team, or are you going to be more afraid of her, or what do you feel like?
I personally feel that Berseria is definitely going to be more. I would say making her appearance more now. I think with the 100% on S3, that is something that I myself will also be drafting her more. I mean, I just want to add on the Spaz portion. Because I use Spaz a lot in season 1, so I think this buff will make him in a way more usable, especially for the S2. Of course, I'm a little bit greedy. If the S2 is not 60%, but maybe 80% like A Tywin, then that would be even better because now Spaz can be a CC unit if he stuns. So that would be an even more stronger version of Spaz. But of course, I mean, then he will be broken because if he can stun every unit and then he proc his S3 and reset, then he'll be a little bit broken. So I think these are all good changes, making more, I would say, the diversity part into the game, whereby you see more other unit rather than RB, Tea Time, or even Sage Bow. So I mean, for me, I would see more of Berseria and Spaz, and some people may even run, I would say, a more tanky version of Spaz because his S3, if it's on stun mode of the opponent, you'll be 100% defend, ignore defense type of skill set. So the damage output from Spaz, I would say, is a lot. Even he's going to be a bruising type of Spaz.
That's true. You won't need a lot of attack. Like his damage stats don't need to be very high since he penetrates the defense. And
with Politis, I think is gonna combo really well with Spaz. You can take your time, not worry about getting Cleave, right? And then her S1 is gonna stun. And it's a free kill.
Oh, you giving people ideas now. Oh no. Dude, I'm gonna hate this.
Counter Cleave, Politis, and Spaz. Let's go.
Yeah. And RB will will just be nerfed after this conversation.
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like there's Spez coming out for that, Politis coming out for that, like kind of both counter. I mean, both technically kind of sort of counter Arbiter Village. Okay, what about the rest? Okay, like Haste. I mean, you guys can give your thoughts about Haste, but I don't know. I don't know much. Like for me, Haste is still feels kind of like
he's still Haste. Nothing changed.
Yeah, still the best imprint, right?
It's still the best imprint for MO Haste. Yep.
MO Haste, yes.
Best imprint. True. Karik. Do you think he's usable with the buff? What do you guys feel?
I don't remember. I think he just gained stealth on his S3, right?
I think he strips two
strips two buffs.
Two buffs now. Yeah.
2 buffs on his S2. He gets what?
He gets the penetration either way. Penetration either way, with regardless of speed buff, and he gains silence and stealth on skill 3 also. He actually got a lot of stuff added onto him when I looked at it, right? So now he strips 2 buffs instead of 1 buff. His skill 3 penetrates regardless for the like 30%, and then he still has stealth and silence. But then when I looked at that, it's still very difficult to use him, I realize. Even though he has all this added, because if you go skill 2 first, he's probably dead afterwards before he can get his turn.
He needs that extra turn, Soulburn, dude.
Yeah. So that's the one biggest thing. Like his skill kit it looks very good because he has a lot of stuff. But then it's very hard to combo into him. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. That's the thing I see. Like unless you can make like some like godlike Karik that goes first, and then like 300 speed goes first, does damage, and then Oxlot's boost again or some shit. But I don't think that's possible. Like it's just not viable.
Yeah, and plus he's kind of ugly too, right?
What the? Wait a minute. Wait. No. Wait, I think he's handsome. Okay, is it just? Wait a minute. Okay, Sylara's hating on. Okay, wait. Who do you think is handsome? What's someone you consider like what? Mort?
What did he just say? He just like cut off like.
I think you got cut off. Yeah, you got cut off.
Yeah. Oh, did I get cut off? Oh, I was saying, who do you consider handsome?
Himself.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not into guys. You gotta ask yourself.
Whoa, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, wait, moving on to the next topic. I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah. So the new Automaton Tower changes. It's a new mode. Yeah, it's a new mode. What do you guys think?
It's roguelike. It looks fun. Looks like a lot of RNG. Feels like I might get rolled over because I get bad RNG. I mean, I think the biggest stance on most of this is like, one, we have like the Automaton Tower where we literally just rolled over with just one unit, and that's like RB or whatever farm unit you got, right?
Yeah.
It's super easy. Anybody can do it. But now you get into like a more gated Automaton Tower where it might take a little more time to actually do. Mm-hmm. So it seems like you're doing more work for a slightly more reward kind of thing. Right? At least that's what I've been hearing a lot more out of a lot more people than anything else. I feel like most people still haven't really thought about it as though like, if I'm forced to end up doing this kind of content, right, just for the reward, like, is it going to be like worthwhile, right? Or is it going to be feeling like a chore?
Okay.
For me, I think Panshui made a very strong point. I think it's more about what is the intention of this particular content. I mean, initially, correct me if I'm wrong. This automation tower is to allow F2P accessible to more rewards. So, I mean, my intention was, or my idea is, this whole thing should be a little bit more catered to people to access reward rather than you increase the difficulty, or maybe we can have a automation tower hard mode for people who like to challenge themselves, but still remain the normal one for people who are not spending in the game, while still be able to access to all these freebies.
Okay.
I think I like what Smocket is doing with the new Automation Tower. Like, I think it's definitely a content creator buff, because now you guys have more content to share with the stream, right?
True.
I think it's a really fun thing you can do with
Viewers.
with your audiences.
Yeah.
It's not so much for us, because I would feel like it's a chore if I have to do it every 2 weeks. But for you guys, it would be a really interesting content for me to watch while you guys are doing it.
I'm actually curious because I looked at some of the previews, right? The buffs. Some of the buffs look very strong. And that makes me wonder, that makes me question, is it going to be A, very easy because of how strong the buffs are? Or is it B, going to be very difficult because of how strong the buffs are?
Get lucky and get the good buffs.
I
think it's just a more PogChamp moments for streamers.
Oh God, maybe. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting. It looks fun though. Regardless, unfortunately, yeah, we don't get all the rewards. It's only one level, right? So we only get one of the levels. But I think it's still good, especially the boxes.
It'll be really fun to like bet on you guys, whether you fail or complete the level.
Oh, true.
Whether you do like 1 million damage or 50 damage.
True. And then, I mean, I guess the hard part here, like, I guess the other thing is like, most people are gonna start right away, right? But people like Derp, who hasn't finished Abyss, right? I think he's like, it's gonna be, he can't do level 4 right away. So I think he's gotta pump his game up there,
Oh no.
Anyways, okay, that one was a quick thing. Aside from that, open topic. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you guys want to bring to the table? I don't want to make this go too long because Panshui was up until DJ hours doing his podcast.
I had a good amount of sleep. Okay.
Okay.
I woke up at 2 p.m. today. Okay. It's
True,
all
true.
good. I had a good night's sleep.
True.
It's
was
fine.
Oh, Jose's. What? You're still at work, right, Hoseh? Or you're on your lunch break?
Yeah, I'm at lunch. I'm at work. I mean, right now Singapore, we are working from home, so I can take an early lunch to join the podcast. But I think for me, I mean, to talk about other topic is more of I personally feel that this has been brought up in a few occasions. We definitely need something to look forward to on Guild War.
Yeah.
If not, this would be a dying content. Although, I mean, people in this stream would heard it across different podcasts, different streams, that this is something that we want. I think it's more of what can we do at that particular content. I mean, rather than just go into Guild War, clear your three tokens, or even you go to a farming guild to do your 3 tokens. I mean, there's no meaning for Guild War right now.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
No, you're right. And we've talked about this a lot, like, before. It's kind of like, rather than just like rewards, right? What can we do to, improve Guild Wars? And I feel like it's such a hard topic. Like, rewards will always help, right? But rewards will only, I don't know, like, it's more than just that. It might just be like the style of the content, that kind of thing. Like, can they do something? Can they add something to like change it to make it better, right? It's literally something we've all thought about, talked about throughout this whole time. I think most players.
If you get this Guild War topic from Smoug's perspective, like, why is it that they're so focused on RTA? What do you guys think about that topic? Why are they so focused on RTA and not really caring so much about GVG at all?
Maybe possibly with the fact that I wonder if there's the fact that like Guild War doesn't really have that interaction, but I'm actually not sure about that one.
Yeah, kind of strange that they would neglect the GVG content for such a long time. There hasn't been any adjustment or changes for at least 2 seasons now, right?
Yeah.
And everything's been the same. The reward's been the same, kind of mediocre. It's now becoming like a like a farm content.
I wonder if, like, one thing I feel like is guild versus guild. I feel like they wanted to use it as a area, maybe to like give the free to play players an easier time. That's why everything's so, like, Guild Wars is so, I guess, easy in a way. I would say it's very accessible, the rewards and everything, to a lot of players. And like, I don't know if they want to keep it that way so that new players aren't turned off, because RTA is something that new players will get turned off from. You cannot go into RTA as a new player, but Guild Wars, as a new player, you can hop in and you can still get a good amount of rewards as long as you're active, I feel like.
Yeah. I wonder if at some point they might implement like a online tournament style for the RTA. So where like on a specific weekend, you can queue up and then you'll be a part of the tournament after you enter like qualifier and stuff. And then you get like a little trophy just for that month or for that week, right? That'd be pretty fun.
That
Like
would be
automated tournament.
That would be cool. But like, I think I think what Jose's getting at though is like, Guild Wars seems like it's like well, to be fair, it already is kind of a dead content, right? I feel like right now for a good amount of people, there's still some people who really like it though. But like for most of us, we're very casual with it now, right?
Yeah, I can tell you, like, I actually really enjoy doing Guild War, you know, because people actually come up with really creative 3 units on their defenses, and then you get to bring in your own version of the 3 units and take them on. Like for me, that little piece of puzzle that you can solve is really fun part. You don't really get rewarded for that, but it's really fun for me to figure out what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, to test out different units.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think that for Guild War, it can also be esports, because I saw someone mentioning, because Guild War is not esport content. I think they can rebrand Guild War into esports. I mean, it's 28% fight, 28%. So there's nothing not possible that it can't be esports. So it's whether do they want to focus on this 28% content. That's how I feel it. Because I saw that from another game, they are really starting to do a e-sport type of guild fight. So I'm really quite excited. And when for example, if today in Asia, my guild has a chance to fight live in global, so that's a great content, and that is something that if I'm watching someone streaming it, I will be very excited to see 28%. How do they ensure that they don't make mistake in order to edge off another guild defense?
I wonder if what's it called? I wonder if implementing cross-server Guild Wars would be a good temporary fix right now.
I feel like it would be.
Like having cross-server Guild Wars, I feel like it might be cool. I don't think it changes too much. It's just maybe like the timing of Guild Wars is going to be a little annoying, because server reset times are different for people, right? So that's probably the only thing they'll have to balance out. But I
think it's fine since it's a 24-hour, right? Anyway.
Yeah, it's 24 hours. Yeah. So like, I guess like cross-server Guild Wars would be nice. I feel like it'd probably be the easiest temporary fix, because then it's a little bit new, right? You fight a lot newer guilds right now. Everyone all the guilds keep fighting each other, right? They know what people do, what their stats are a lot of times, right? But like, and not to mention like Korea, Asia server, EU, all those servers will have like different metas that they like to like probably use. It might be a little bit different then. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a hard one. I want them to improve it, but I mean, with all the past, right? Like I've tried collecting data for them once, and then what we could do to improve it and stuff, but nothing really happened with that, right? Most of you guys know what I did that time, But so I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it, but it's something we would want. Japan server, they'll probably have to catch up first. Aside from that, I have a little bit more time. So, are there any questions in chat that people want to ask specifically, that we could go for, that we go through, go over, or anything you guys want to still bring up, that you feel like is a topic that would be good?
Oh man.
Okay, there's
Or maybe I share another one, Sky, for you. I think
okay.
maybe one more point that we can also relook into is the current arena reset meta, because right now everyone just trying to just farm arena in a way whereby they just dumping sky stones to climb. So I think, I mean, for me, I play a lot of arena in the past, so I do enjoy the last 1 hour or 2 hour adrenaline rush to
Yeah.
the closing time. So that's something that I personally feel that I mean the blinding is good, but maybe, you know, if it could revert to the old meta, that would be something that, you know, it brings people together to as a guild, probably, to even work together in arena, because right now you just have to spend time to climb. That's all.
I think one of the biggest changes I didn't like about that was the new arena point method.
Yeah.
It like the blind day was great. They also removed the frames, so you can't tell either, right? But I do feel like they should revert personally the way the points are given, because right now, if you're like a new player that's getting up to champion or you're free to play, you cannot have access to Legend 1 rewards. You'll never get the Legend 1 first time Skystones now with the way the current method is. Because anyone pushing for that in the normal arena season, right? Like first day, there's people at like already like 6k points or something, right? Like they climb really fast just to get that first head start. So it's kind of hard, right?
Yeah, you got to be up really early and Monday morning, and then you got to climb when it's open the first hour, and then you got to get your Legend 1.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard. I don't know. I don't know what else. Like, arena is in a bit of a weird spot. I think it's not content for everyone anymore in the higher levels, and everyone else, like, who is it? Like Jinx. Jinx is just in challenger, and like he doesn't even do like he barely touches arena now. Like, you know, it's not worth it, kind of thing. Also, but
I think it's just because then it's like it ends up being like a spam of things instead of actually seeing who's actually good and who's actually challenging now.
yeah.
And the fact that people could just literally just spam over and over doesn't really tell them that they're good. They just show that I have the bigger wallet.
It's whale territory.
I mean, it's whale territory now. The reason why I enjoy the old arena is just because even then, like I don't need to spend like sky stones in order to like know that I'm good. All I need to know is like, hey, look, I have a good defense. You can't beat this, or I'm just super annoying for you, right? And then they would tend to like avoid me and whatnot. I think the addition, like you said, like systemically, the main reason why arena is the way that it is like the point system, right? The point system is the one that kind of screwed over everything, making it like, you know, not very like less punishable for the people that actually like spend like a shit ton in order to actually climb up. Whereas for like back then, if you climbed up, you would end up being the person that gets punished, right?
Yep.
So I guess another thing is, I think this system is more catered for like if you climb out throughout the entire week, you would be rewarded. Whereas the other one, if you were to climb up to the very end, you wait till the last minute or the last hour to really get that final spot.
Yeah.
You know, you're actually fighting for that. This one is like no contest. It's more like we're just contesting on who has a better wallet kind of thing.
Yeah.
And time, probably.
Time too. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Jose says, like the last minute back then was still fun because, like, you know, you could get knocked out, you know, out of where you're trying to aim for and whatnot because, you know, your defense wasn't good enough, your offense wasn't fast enough. But now it's the point where, like, if you have a decent defense, you have a decent offense, well, you still have to have a good offense. Like, as long as you have a very good offense and your defense is not too horrible, then you can get, you know, you can climb in that. So, but it does.
You know, yeah, you know what I really wanted to see in one of the modes as RTA is, what if they have a mode where you don't lose any point, right? It's like
Mhm.
for fun RTA where you can climb, but your point wouldn't matter.
Just
You know, like a
normal mode, a
non
normal mode,
NMR
no
RTA.
rank.
Yeah, you have a hitting rank, but they're not
Oh,
gonna show whether you're going up or going down.
huh. I feel like it might be one too many modes for RTA though. Like we actually had we talked about this where like, I mean, there was a suggestion where having like a fun mode
Yeah,
in
like
RTA.
casual RTA
Mhm.
setting versus ranked RTA setting.
The thing is like, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
So,
like
yeah.
ranked and non-ranked, right? But then people brought up something that was like they're worried it might split the populace, like the population of people queuing up in RTA now, where like they're split between two different queues now, which is something that you know we. One thing I do want to know is I want to know the statistics. I want to know how many people are actually playing RTA. I actually want to know that, along with like how many are queuing and what level, right? Because like with that said, right, maybe splitting
Are
it
you
is
able
okay.
to set up a poll right now? Like, if you can set up a poll for the chat right now, see what the split looks like.
Maybe I might actually be
Like,
able to.
like how many people actually play on a regular basis
We can see
every
in
other
chat.
day?
We can see in chat, but we won't know in
Yeah.
the actual game itself. Because I mean, this is only a very small portion of people that are probably playing the game itself.
No, it seems like everybody's here.
Sorry, wait a minute. What? Do you play RTA?
I mean, we had a good population here. We have 500 plus people.
So daily basis or?
Yeah, I would say daily basis. I mean, if you're gonna play RTA, the real people that plays RTA plays it every day, I think.
Actually, you know what?
I play to maintain my rank, so that I don't decay.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually.
I play enough so that I don't decay.
I'm gonna do three options. So one is for play RTA every day. One is only every 3 days, and the other one is let's do like.
I'm still in placements.
No, I don't.
I'm still in placements, right?
No, I don't
Yeah,
play
I'm
it.
thinking what would encourage more people play RTA, right?
The energy.
Because I remember when the first season, there's this anxiety, right? You don't want to play because you might lose your points.
Mm-hmm. Holy, there's a big okay, I don't know if that's a troll or not, but that's interesting. We'll see. All right, you guys can talk about whatever. I need to go washroom real quick. Actually, be right back.
Yeah, like for the people that don't play RTA every day, what is your reason of not wanting to play RTA? Like, is it the gear issue, or you don't feel like you're ready? What is it?
I think primarily it's like what you said already. Like number one, it's like unless there's like an actual incentive to actually do RTA, most people will probably not even try to do it. Right? It's
Yeah, a
not
lot
worth
of
their
people are saying it's a
time.
gear issue, right?
Yeah, it's
A lot
gear
of people
issue, but that's the thing, right? When you're competing in RTA, you're not really competing for like practically anything besides for like a frame and a skin. But then why would you really care about this if that is the only incentive and I could do that at the very end of the right? So like I'm pretty sure the main reason why people just don't do RTA in the first place is really just like what's the incentive of doing it, right? Like what's actually making them or allowing them to actually like or like have them want to actually play it.
Yeah,
Right?
I think a lot of people just feel like they're not ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not ready. The gear is not there, and then they have anxiety. They're kind of scared to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can understand that. Like you want to feel like you're completely ready before you jump in, because it is a very competitive environment, and you don't want to lose, and you don't want to have like a low win rate, right?
And of course, I think the RTA is, I mean, the way I look at it is really for people who are really competitive and want to challenge themselves for an extra content or extra ability, or challenge themselves for this particular section. I mean, if not, I mean, if I do not have a good set of units and I'm free to play, I will just play on a fun basis rather than a competitive basis, and
Mm-hmm.
hence
Yeah,
I will be
like
playing every day.
mhm. Yeah, I think for a lot of us, we find it really fun to play RTA. Like the first season might be very stressful, but ever since the second season, I tanked my win rate. Didn't matter. After you get to like 60%, you just play for fun, right?
But do you really think that's the reason? But like, I don't think that's what the new players really care about in RTA. Like for us, we're like the end game players, right? The people that already establish our stance on where we are in the game, and there's like practically nothing left to do. I feel like for the new players, the reason why they can't do it is like you said, they're not ready for it. They're too scared to actually do it. And there's really no rewards that really. I want to say there's no rewards. There is a reward, but there's practically no incentive for you to actually do it. Right? I'm pretty sure that's like the prime reason of why people don't like it. There isn't like anything like Arena where like, hey, look, if I climb, I get these extra nice Skystone rewards or something like that. Or maybe if I climb some of this, I gain like some points or some currency so that I can actually buy something, you know? There isn't really like a shop or anything that really says like, hey, I should be doing this. Right?
Yeah, that's why I think maybe they should have a non-ranked mode. Maybe give a little bit of reward for people that plays the non-ranked mode. You know, so it brings more people into the RTA scene and let them have fun. And if you think about it, if you come across a legend player who's playing a non-ranked setting, they might be messing around. You know, I think one of the guys in chat, I play against him. I think he was saying that because I always hop into these mock rooms and I would like play like stupid units. And some of these guys beat me a few times because I'm Papega. One of the guys was saying that because I allowed them to beat me, now they have the confidence they actually climb to champion.
Wow.
You know, because stuff like that, because people don't think they're good enough. That's why they don't play RTA. So I'm thinking like if people can just get that exposure in a more casual setting, they would play more.
I feel like
I think it's just because then we're so meta bound, right? When we're looking at like, it doesn't even matter what streamer we watch. So many people are just played so meta bound, and like you don't see like these unique picks very often, right? And when people don't see unique picks and all they see is like the same crap practically all the time, they get kind of like I'm pretty sure that's the main reason. And when they don't have that unit as well, and they don't have it, they're just scared to compete because then what would they do against? Yeah.
I guess.
Or maybe, sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
Or maybe, okay. Or maybe they can have an RTA shop. I saw someone mentioning in the chat. I think it's quite a good idea. You know, by playing RTA, I mean, if you win or lose, you get a certain amount of points, and then you can use the points to exchange for maybe bookmarks or even mystics. You know, that will entice people to play an RTA game, regardless of you win or lose. It's just that, you know, the problem right now is that leads to another problem where RTA is unlimited token, so people will just farm RTA for it. So
I mean, they already have the skin shop, right? So all they gotta do is reward skin tickets for you to play some RTA. I think that'd be good, like on a time gated manner.
They just need a reward. That's it. They just need a reward system, something.
Yeah.
Aside from the seasonal rewards, right? I mean, okay, to be fair, we talked about this before where like some people don't like that idea because it forces people who don't like to play RTA to play RTA. But I feel like at this point, maybe it's something necessary to like make the people who are on the fence to play, right? While the people who aren't gonna play anyways. If they really don't like RTA, they're not gonna play regardless of whether there's a shop or not, right? So maybe that is something that I feel like could be a good, I guess,
I feel like
incentive.
The shop just needs to be there is to incentivize them to actually just play regardless win or lose.
Yeah, for
right?
like
it's like how Arena works, right? If you play like a certain amount of time, no matter what, right? You could be like inting like 5 times in a row in Arena, but you still get like a streak bonus where you get like 10 conquest points.
Yeah.
Like if they just have something like that, literally in RTA, right? I'm pretty sure people are probably just gonna play win or lose.
Yeah.
And I feel like something like that should be fine. Right?
Yeah, like giving out like maybe 5 skin tickets per week, right? And then eventually people can collect 60 and get like one of the skins as a free to play.
So looking at this here, it looks like what 49% says they don't play RTA, 29% only every 3 days, and then 22% is every day. In chat, granted, you know, it's a portion of people, not everyone, right? So I mean, it's fair. So maybe that incentive with like the shop would be really good change there for people then. Or as Syllara said, like, like a unranked, non-ranked mode for people to have fun in where, they can just do whatever.
Okay, try do a poll, see if people want to get the skin ticket. Would they play RTA?
It's more like just have a shop. Just have a shop.
Yeah, yeah, just have a shop.
Just a reward incentive, right? Would people like to have a shop for RTA shop where it would be similar to Arena, right? If the shop were to be similar to Arena, would you guys be incentivized to actually play RTA? If it were to give you like, I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of forced, right? If it's like a shop, I think most people would have to do it.
Well, no, like, so that's what I'm curious about. Like, for the people who really don't like RTA, would they still not, or would they now actually start, right? Like, that is something that, yeah. So would an RTA shop make you play RTA? Yes, it would, or no, it wouldn't. And then we'll see what people say.
This is a landslide.
I mean, that's the problem when it comes down to like a gacha game in general, systemically. Is that no matter what you give them, it's more like at the end of the day, everything is end up going to be very, very valuable in terms of your progression, especially for a game like Epic 7.
Yeah.
Like considering that it isn't too much of a collector, right? It feels more like it's more like a PvP kind of game. I feel like, of course, you would feel like a lot of pressure. But let's say, for example, what happened if we were to have something a little bit more like customizable, right? Maybe we can farm for like, emotes. Maybe we could farm for like other things or other things that feel like it's similar to like the Dagger Sakar.
Yeah.
Right. What happens if we have something similar to the Dagger Sakar if we have like, seasonal things where you could just farm for these things?
I feel like
maybe if it's not for gear, maybe it's not for things that would like boost your progression, but maybe something that would customize and make it feel like, custom things that you could do for RTA.
Right? Yeah. I think aesthetics is a very big part that they haven't taken advantage of, right? Like I've talked about lobby skins, right? That's when we have those Christmas skins, right? Summer skins on the lobby that kind of change what the lobby looks like. I feel like they really need to allow us to implement that ourselves because that's one cool thing. And then aside from that, right, is character skins. They really need to bring in more character skins at a faster pace for people. Okay, yeah, this is pretty big. Like without this even finishing, right? Like, so would an RTA shop make you play RTA regardless, right? Skins, conquest points, molas, whatever it is, right? If it has something in there, right, along that kind of lines, right? Charms, I don't know, right? 86% already says yes, it would. 14% says no. So to be fair, I feel like yeah, like maybe having a shop would be good. People say forcing people to do this is not good, but I feel like at this point maybe it's something that they should just do either way, which is why I said if people aren't going to play RTA regardless, they're not going to play RTA regardless. This is more so for the people who are on the fence, who are kind of like, I don't really care. There's no extra incentive for me to really play, so I don't bother. But if there is, then I'll play. Right? So it's for the people who actually, are right in the middle that can go both ways. So, yeah, that's a fair point.
I think if we were to talk a little bit more about the GVG situation, I feel like it's actually very difficult right now for you to communicate in game. If you want to actually find a player to join your guild, there's no way for you to contact them. That's just how it is. So I think that's the first thing they gotta fix.
They got a DM. We gotta
allow
the DMs and whatnot.
Yeah, I gotta allow the DMs, but
it needs to be a DM system.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of hard though, because like I don't know, like I personally don't use the in-game messaging too much, so I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of hard. It'd be nice if they have that for some people who don't. That, but a big portion on Twitch uses Discord. Most of all of us use Discord for all our communication. Won't you think streamers would get spammed if DMs existed? I mean, okay, maybe there might be that too. You might get trolled with that kind of stuff, but at the same time, those people could probably turn it off, right?
Yeah,
there probably will be an option to turn that, right?
You can have
so, yeah. I don't know. It's it's hard. I don't know what to do about Guild Wars. I'm looking at this RTA shop poll, and there's more people that voted on this RTA shop poll than the people that voted on the RTA earlier. So it might just be people who like just didn't care about RTA. Like if there was a shop, they would care. So okay, maybe something we would bring to Smilegate. See if it's something that they could think about at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Aside from that, I think it was pretty good. I think it was a good podcast. Talked a lot about different stuff. And then we'll see our reactions when the new unit Politis comes out and see what happens then. Along with Archdemon. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
If you want,
thanks for having us, guys.
I mean, aside from that, everyone kind of gave their intro about where they were from. So Panshui, twitch.tv/Panshui, Hoseh, twitch.tv/Hosemon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Syllara, no Twitch, just
Slide
Discord.
into DMs. Just slide
Yeah,
into
not
DMs.
yet.
Yeah, not yet. Slide into his DMs, and thank you, Eska, for shouting those two out. And then I'll have their information in the YouTube video also for the people that will be watching on YouTube. All right. Aside from that, appreciate you guys joining, and best of luck for the rest of the RTA season.
All right, catch you outside.